How do you cultivate acting better today for a more successful tomorrow? That is a challenge for a good sliver of the population.
Yeah, well, I would say humility is the key to that. It's like, look, if you have a child and you love that child and you want the child to develop, you set them a task that exceeds their current domain of competence. But you set them a task that they have a reasonable probability of succeeding at, right? Not complete, because then it's too easy. It has to be a challenge. And so you look at the child and you say, well, here's your ability level. Here's one more step you could take, right? Well, then you have to do the same to yourself. You have to take stock of yourself. That's a meditational exercise. It's like, who am I? Where are my flaws? And they're not going to be something you want to face. And then you think, well, what small thing could someone as flawed as me do that I would do that would improve me? And then it's humiliating, because you think, oh my God, really? I have to do something that small? That's all I'm capable of? It's like, yeah, that's your lot, man. And you better be humble enough to accept it. And then you make that small improvement. But then what you find is that small improvements, those things accumulate, those things compound. And you can start moving ahead very, very rapidly with a succession of small improvements. And there's a metaphysical element to this, but it's also the basis of behavior therapy, which is the widest employed brand of clinical psychology now in the world. Behavior therapy. It's like, well, let's figure out what your problem is. Let's figure out what your goal is. Let's break down your problem until we have a small enough piece that you can address it successfully. Let's see if you can address it successfully in the next week. You can go out and try, and if you can't, we'll cut it down a little bit more. And let's assume that incremental improvement is going to move you up. And it does. But it does require that humility. And it's not a matter of comparing yourself to other people. It's not helpful. It's like, what are you doing wrong? And you can ask yourself that, right? And the problem with asking yourself that is you get an answer.
Yeah.
And it's not an answer you want. It's like, oh my God, really? That's what I'm doing wrong? How could I be so foolish and blind that that would be my mistake? And how can I be so little and useless that this is all I can do to improve it? You got to get, that's to get down on your knees in some sense before the ideal that you're attempting to manifest, and to show where you are in relationship to that. But the upside of that is it's an unbelievably powerful process. You can put yourself together to a staggering degree merely by ceasing doing those things you know you shouldn't do.